By definition, the Norris Trophy is the annual award given to the defensive player who demonstrates throughout the season the greatest all-around ability in the position. The key part of that definition is all-around ability. So when you're a minus 26 on the season as a defenseman, how exactly do you take home a trophy for being the defenseman of the year? Well, let's take a deeper look. At 33 years old, the chances of Erik Karlsson turning back the clock and becoming a beast was extremely unlikely. With a series of multiple injuries over his career, no one expected Karlsson to have the year that he had. His final stat line was 25 goals, 76 assists, and 101 points in 82 games. This marked the first 100-point season from a defenseman since 1992, a special season with one minor blemish. He was minus 26 on the season. Erik Karlsson at his peak is without a doubt the best offensive defenseman of this generation. But his biggest weakness is and always will be the defensive side of his game. That of course sparks some debate when you win the Norris Trophy 3 times for being the best all-around defenseman in the league. Now if you've watched Karlsson play in his own end, this becomes pretty obvious. For as great of a skater as he is moving forward, his ability to transition and defend off the rush isn't exactly the best. Due to his lack of foot speed in these situations, he often gets caught with his momentum going the wrong way and fails to properly stuff plays. A number of brutal lower body injuries have limited his speed and mobility, and it shows whenever a forward turns a corner and heads towards the net. Of course, while his anticipation in the offensive zone is second to none, it isn't nearly as sharp in the defensive zone. Whether it's being late to a read or missing the read entirely, Karlsson isn't neutralizing a lot of players without the puck. But even as a minus 26 on the season, none of the NHL voters seemed to care, as he was still voted as the NHL's best defenseman. And that's because for all of his flaws, there's almost no one who could do what Karlsson does offensively on the blue line. Erik Karlsson's game is made for the current NHL. In the offensive zone, the best offensive teams activate their D to create all kinds of coverage problems for the other team. Erik Karlsson is one of, if not the very best at this skill. With a perfect intuition of knowing just when to step into the play and extend possession or use his creativity, he becomes incredibly hard to stop. Watch him jump from low to high here to fill in the space and create a constant attack for San Jose. His intuition keeps the play extended, and then the rest is just incredible vision. Even though Karlsson's speed struggles on the defensive side of the puck, he still leverages his skating and IQ on the blue line to break down defenses. Watch as Karlsson activates in the zone to switch with the San Jose forward, but with options limited down low, he then heads back up high to switch yet again. He then uses a punch fake to get the defenders to bite for a split second and opens up a lane right down Main Street. A lot of defenders here in this situation might put one on net, but not Erik Karlsson. His specialty is taking a good offensive play and making it a great one. When you make plays like this, everyone forgets, or rather forgives, the flaws in his game. The NHL by nature is a transition league due to the level of speed and skill. Dominate through transition and you dominate the game. On the offensive side of the game, Erik Karlsson does just that and dominates the transition. Karlsson is among the best at turning the puck from defense to offense, as this season he led the league in D-zone carryouts, loose puck recoveries, and stretch passes among defensemen. Karlsson may not be the player to close you off with a strong gap or break up a cycle play, but he's among the best at moving his team up the ice and spend time attacking instead of defending. To give you an idea of how dominant Karlsson was at this, 65% of the Sharks' goals this season had come when Karlsson was on the ice. He's a minus 26 on the season, yet the Sharks would be significantly worse without him on the ice to generate all that offense. Karlsson may not be an elite defender in the literal sense of the word, but no one cares because of how dominant he was offensively on such a poor team. Ultimately, much of this comes down to what you believe about how the Norris Trophy should be awarded. If it's the best all-around defenseman, Erik Karlsson is probably not that guy. But if it's an offensive defenseman, it's him by a mile. With trade rumors swirling around Karlsson these days, it would be fascinating to see him on a strong defensive team. Minus 26 is a god-awful number, but the Sharks are a horrible team. When you play top minutes on a bad team, you're bound to be on the ice for a goal against, which isn't entirely your fault. Karlsson's best defense is his offense. Whether or not fans want to count that as being good defensively doesn't really matter, because in the eyes of NHL award voters, an absurd offensive season is enough to make him the best defenseman of the 2022-2023 season. So, what did you think about Erik Karlsson's season? Do you believe he deserved the Norris Trophy even though he was a minus 26 and is notoriously bad defensively? Do you believe the NHL needs to have two separate awards for the best offensive and defensive defenseman for the entire year? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. And before we end the video, I want to thank our sponsor, Hockey Training. If you're a hockey player who wants to improve your game this offseason, the Hockey Training app and YouTube channel is the best place to be. Armed with drills inspired by some of the greatest NHL players in the world, it is the #1 spot to take your game to the next level, both on and off the ice. If you're interested, I'll leave all the links in the bio down below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more just like it, click on any of the links right here.